Does anyone have any questions about history and H2 and their plans, or about Rye? Michael is up. There's a hand up the back here. Two, I can see one, but thank you.
Hiya, John Farron. Question for Dirk. Hello, Dirk.
Thank you, John.
It's two questions in one, actually. Do you have a very carefully targeted demographic for H2? I didn't see anyone kind of that matched the age profile of this room on your sizzle, for example.
Yeah, H2 is...
I was speaking for myself.
Will be, I would say, slightly older skewing than history. History, we're still working to get the median age down a couple of years. You know, ideally, history would be around 45 median age. And, you know, H2 would be sort of 50.
Around 50.
Yeah.
And secondly, do all your shows have presenters now?
No, I don't, you know, whereas on history, we really are constantly looking for character-driven. H2, we've done quite well with programs that are, you know, just contributor-based and narration-based.
Yeah, we've migrated a couple of shows over from history over to H2, which don't have presenters. Modern Marvels, Universe, Ancient Aliens, no presenters on those shows. Yeah.
Excuse me, when you say older audience, what do you mean? I'm not familiar with your demographics.
Yes. So, you know, the median age is something that we're constantly thinking about and aware of, and it's really because of advertising sales primarily, that we focus on certain demographics and we look at our ratings within those demographics, and that's what ad sales goes out to market with. So, you know, by having history with a median age of 45 and H2 with a you know, median age of 50, our sales group can go out with sort of distinct opportunities based on those figures.
Piero, what are your demographics?
No, that was the reason I asked, because we have a very strange demographic. In terms of TV audience, in Italy, television is for older people. I mean, from 30 years old upwards. In terms of television, then we have a huge amount of requests that flow in via the web, via the internet, the mail, from schools and universities, both teachers and pupils, asking for DVDs, because more and more teachers come to us and say, look, I found that your shows are a fantastic way to teach and engage to the students. Then we have the internet, and we found that a lot of people, a lot of younger people, watch our programs on the web. So it's quite interesting, but from the advertiser perspective, our program on back and bottom, you know, top and bottom, the end and the beginning and the end, is considered very premium quality by the advertisers. So our advertising agency, CIPRA, is quite happy when we are on air every week, because they can sell at a premium price the...
Right. Yeah, for, you know, ideally, history is an 18 to 49 network, and H2 is a 25-54 network. Those are the sort of key main demographic buckets that we are generally looking at. We're always trying to grow your 18 to 49, get as much of the history audience into that demo bucket as possible. But with H2, 25 to 54 is advantageous for us, as Dirk said, from an advertiser standpoint.
But I don't know if that's the same in the US or UK, but the fact is that in Italy at least, younger audience are just abandoning television as a traditional medium. So they're not watching it anymore.
We haven't really seen that. You know, there's a lot of, we know that a lot of younger people and adults are watching TV with a laptop open at the same time. There's a lot of DVR, time shifting, but you know, from a pure sort of ratings perspective, we haven't really seen an issue with that.
We're one of the few networks that, you know, the younger male is the toughest audience to reach in the United States. And we've actually seen a great increase in younger male viewing to the network. Of history, yeah.
Let's see if there's another question here. There's a hand right up the back. Young lady, and please give your name and where you're from.
It's Edwina Thring from Wild Thring Media. Hi. On the History Channel, you talk about characters. Do all those characters have to be predominantly US characters, or will you look at international characters as well?
We would look at international characters, absolutely, and I would say that typically what we've seen as far as international characters working on shows in the U.S., they tend to be pretty over the top. You know, if you look at Bear Grylls and there's a show called River Monsters, both have British presenters. They're doing pretty crazy things. You know, in Man vs. Wild, I don't know if people are familiar with it, but it's kind of a survival show, and Bear Grylls, you know, will gut a deer, and, you know, or he, you know, picks up elephant dung and drinks water out of it, and, you know, it's pretty extreme stuff. I think I'd be cautious about using international presenters in a way that's sort of, you know, more of a less, you know, sort of more of a straightforward way. I'd be cautious about that.
We have a question here in the front. Sorry. I'm sorry, I can't see. The microphone's coming. There you go.
The early clips or things we saw were in the lines of interviews, stills, reportage. And then suddenly we had, with the Toscanini program, dramatized material. And I was wondering how H2 relates to, I won't say Downton Abbey, but the whole world of historical dramas.
As for what concerns La Storia Siamo Noi, we never use dramatizations in terms of actors with dialogues. The dramatization you saw in the Toscanini clip was taken from Franco Zeffirelli's movie, and was used because, of course, we didn't have any image of that concert in Brazil. But otherwise, we never use dramatizations in terms of actors, and because we know that for Italian audience, it simply won't work. The Italian audience doesn't like it.
Yeah, dramatizations, we do them, but one of the things that we, you know, they can look cheap. You know, so we try to, when we do them, we try to do them in a very high-end style.
Yeah, we've, you know, I would say that we've really pushed, you know, with, for example, you know, working with Tony and Ridley Scott on Gettysburg, I don't like to call those recreations or reenactments. I see those as dramatic scenes, well-crafted, you know, and well-directed dramatic scenes that we use to help tell that story. But I feel like there's a little bit of a stigma when you say sort of recreation, reenactment. You know, I think we've really pushed ourselves to push beyond that as far as the quality.
We have a question, sorry, down the front here.
Hi, Tom Veltri, the really interesting picture company here in New York. Hi, Peter. I took the train in this morning on Long Island Railroad, and there were a couple of business people in their late 40s, sort of at the center of your demographic, bragging to each other how they both canceled cable subscriptions because they're not home enough to watch it, and when they are, they just stream stuff on the internet. And although you don't see a decline in your ratings yet, this does the news, the talk of cord cutting is coming more and more all the time. How do you guys address that? Do you reach out into other media, or do you just try to, you know, strengthen your brand? And what kind of product can we give you that would help in this?
Good question, Tom. Thank you.
We're not that concerned about the cord cutting. What we do see that those who are watching their programming not on cable these days tends it tends to be those who don't have the money for it. That's generally what we see in our research. Well, that's an interesting thing to see, but we have not seen, the data has not shown that yet. That being said, but so it's younger people just out of college who they have other ways. There are other ways clearly of getting the content, and it's something we're going to monitor as we go forward, because it is in the zeitgeist and people are talking about it more. That being said, we are very aggressive in getting our content out through lots of platforms. Online, is very important for us. So we push our content to try to have it out there in as many different platforms, on Netflix, et cetera, as possible. So we do push hard on that.
Thank you, Pete. So we are down to our last couple of questions. Did I see one up here, all the way up in the far corner? And that would be Chris Herzl. Chris is from Smithsonian Channel. Here comes the mic.
Dirk and Peter.
The lady over there.
I admire you both for addressing your successes and your failures. And just wondering, what did you learn from the Kennedys?
It was, what I learned was, it's when things are tough to understand, you just sort of just let it go. and I think it's best sort of to just let it go.
As a very good question, Chris, and a very good answer, Dirk. So we've got time for one really quick question in the back here, and then we're going to wrap up.
My name is Juliana Richardson, and I have a question about history in H2 about culturally diverse programs. I don't see it.
Sorry, the question?
Culturally diverse programming.
And whether...
Your plans.
Oh.
Yeah, where is it? I don't see it.
Because we're always looking for character-driven programs, we really look to find that diversity within the characters that we're looking for. I would love for the network to be more culturally, diverse than it is. And we're actively looking for those characters. And, we just have yet to, we have some new series coming out that feature some more culturally diverse characters within those series. But the challenge is, we're looking for entertainment, that people are going to watch, and we see, worlds and characters and things are brought to us, and we have to choose from what we're seeing and developing. And we can, we have that sort of deliberate effort, and we're trying to address that, absolutely.
It's a very good question and a very powerful issue that deserves a panel all of its own. So I'm going to finish up now. I've got a quick three quick comments before I thank the panel. First of all, remember our Singapore delegation is here, and we really look forward to you reaching out to them to help them make a great success of their trip here, because they're determined to develop their factual sector, and that certain qualified programs do earn up to a 40% rebate on Singapore spend, so that might attract some attention. And then secondly, I didn't realize I'd be on a stage that I shared with Lillian Gish, but I just want to tell you I have a really great personal story. My own niece is on Broadway here. She's an Oscar nominee, a Golden Globe winner. Her name's Rachel Griffiths, and she's just down the block right now, probably getting ready for a performance of Other Desert Cities. So I feel like it's a great Broadway day for the Hamiltons, and I'm sorry to share my personal stuff with you, but I'm very proud of her. So I'd really like very much to thank Dirk, Peter, and Piero for sharing their strengths and weaknesses, and also their failures. As Chris said, it's really great to realize that this is a battle. It's not easy, and success like you guys have had and careers like you've had, Peter, they don't come easy. So thanks very much for sharing all this with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.